Hi, I'm Richard Clewer. I'm the leader of Wiltshire Council. We also brought two linked documents, strategies to full council. We had the climate strategy, which addresses how we are going to respond to the pressures and the threats of climate change and the process of carbon reduction. We are very much dependent on government programs for a lot of this work, but we need to have strategies in place and plans in place on a local level to deliver as and when government legislation changes or we get funding from government to make the headway in those areas. We also need to empower and enable communities to make changes on a micro level, and the strategy enables us to deal with that as well. There are really complex issues here, transport, where we need to assist with the decarbonisation of transport, but we can't try and do it in a way that drives people out of their cars and destroys the economy of Wiltshire. That's not something I'm willing to do. We need to make sure that we've got housing retrofitting being built up, in particular building up the industry to enable retrofitting for all of us when it becomes something that's viable for residents to do. There needs to be an industry there to enable them to. We've also then got the blue-green infrastructure strategy, not the catchiest of titles. It's the one government makes us use. It's basically the environment plan for Wiltshire. And this we will now be using as a tool to ensure, as the Environment Bill goes through the House of Commons and the concept of biodiversity net gain is enshrined in all sorts of statute, particularly in planning, that we have plans and processes in place to mean that every possible bit of our land is available for wildflowers if it isn't land that needs to be used for other purpose, for council land, for example. So hopefully, as you drive through Wiltshire in the future, you will be in the summer driving through an environment with wildflowers on both sides of the road. To look at areas to ensure we can identify the right places to plant trees and then the right trees to plant there. There have been suggestions about planting trees all over the county. That wouldn't make sense. You can't destroy one habitat, rolling chalk downland, for example, just to plant trees. We've got to find the right locations. We also need to make sure that we have a proper policy in place to deliver biodiversity net gain. That means that when new housing is delivered, there is an expectation that work will be done to not just maintain but improve biodiversity. It sounds a little counterintuitive, and I have to be honest, I think to an extent it is a little counterintuitive. But hedgerows, for example, are very effective places for nature to thrive. The policy as it stands means that developers could theoretically just put a hedgerow in the middle of a housing estate, not linked to anything. That's not really going to deliver net gain. What we want to do is make sure we have large areas, acres, hectares of land, where we can put funding in to support net gain and sustain it, keep those places as preserves for nature in the right way over in essence in perpetuity over a very long period of time. And to do that, we're going to need a lot of advice, a lot of expertise, and this strategy gives us the ability to put that into practice.